Hi, boys and girls. I'm very excited about today. You'll notice I am not wearing my scientist clothes. No fancy glasses, no lab coat. We'll get back to that. But we have been talking about an author all week, really for a few weeks. And his name is Eric Carle. And here he is holding one of his most famous books, The Very Hungry Caterpillar. Now, he's done lots of other books too. See how he thinks about the caterpillar, and this is how he writes it or illustrates it in his book. But he doesn't draw it. He has a different way. Now, we also read about the firefly. This is a real firefly, and this is how Eric Carle makes it. And a click beetle. I have never actually seen a click beetle, but I can see why Eric Carle made it the way he did. We also have all these other books he wrote, and this one here is about the mixed up chameleon. You might find that someday. And here's a chameleon, and there's how Eric Carle did it. So I thought today we would be artists in the same way Eric Carle is. Now, all you need are your scissors, your glue stick, the papers we painted yesterday, and yours might be different. No worries, everybody's is going to be different. A plain sheet of paper, and I have some of this kind of paper in your kits, and this is a little bit thicker, and that's the piece I chose for this. And your imagination. Now, the only thing you should write on this is your name. Do not draw or color or do anything else. We're going to do it the way Eric Carle does. So I thought we could all imagine our own insect. It can be any insect you want, okay? And we're going to use these papers. Now, the first thing I'm going to put while I think about the insect is I'm going to be like Eric Carle and make a sunshine for mine. So I'm going to want to use the yellow paper. Now, you might not want to use all of it. In fact, I'm going to save some of mine because maybe in a couple of weeks we'll do another project with what's left over. So my sunshine, I'm going to make a circle as a starter. Notice I'm not drawing it. I'm imagining it. And because this is my work, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm cutting out my circle. Look at that. It's not a perfect circle. I don't need to be perfect. I can decide where I want to put it on my paper. And if I need to move it, I can. Now, I like it like that, but I think I would like some rays. Do you know what I mean? Like Eric Carle always makes the long rays. Well, I'm going to do mine a little different, and I'll show you. I am cutting little triangles. So on mine, I will stick my triangles. Now, the problem is mine wasn't all yellow. It'll have a little yellow. Can you see it? It does look like they're sticking out a little bit. Oh, I like it. Now, if I didn't like it, I could change it. This is my collage picture. I'm kind of tucking them under there. So let's see. Got two more I already cut out, so I'll stick one over. Oops, I want the yellow side up. And while I'm doing this, I'm thinking about what I want next. Now, there's going to be an insect on here. So I don't know which one yet, but I do know that I'm going to want my insect in the grass. So here's my scraps that's left. I'll set that aside for now. And the grass, whoops, the grass I'm going to make green. Put this back up here. Here's my green. Ooh, I had done swirls on mine. You know what I'm going to do? I'm cutting a long strip, see? And I imagine my grass this way. So I'm going to cut not all the way through. Now, boys and girls, you can do this any way you want to. It's up to you. It's up to you to be creative. And moms and dads, sit back. If I were you, I would go into a different room. Because you know what? If you're sitting right there, they're going to say, how do I make? How do I make? How do I make? And you know what? when I was in the classroom, I was so busy with other children that it wasn't a problem for me. The kids had to try it themselves. Whatever they put on their paper is going to be okay. They just need to be brave enough to do it themselves. Oops, this is an old one. So boys and girls, if you do it, you will have one. If you don't do it, you won't. This is not Mom and Dad's project. So there's some of my grass right there. I could make a tree if I want. Did you see how I crunkled it up? Yeah, that was my plan too. And you know what else? Maybe I will have a little stem and some leaves. So I'm going to cut out a leaf because a lot of insects, they lay their eggs on leaves. Do you remember why they do that? They do that so that when the babies hatch out of the egg, they will have something for them to eat. Now I'm going to take the brown one so that I can make a stem. I'm just cutting a long, skinny rectangle. Oops. I'm going to put a stem here, right like that. Just because that's how I imagine it, right out of the ground. And you know what, I'll give it a leaf. If you want to, you could make it into a flower. You could do it however you want. And you know what else? You could make more than one insect. I'm going to start with red. I'm going to start by cutting a circle. And I'm cutting the circle in half. And then from here, I'm also going to cut a little half of a circle. And I might need a little black. That's what's cool about this. Whatever colors you have are going to be great. Now, I'm going to put this is going to be the first insect I make. I'm watching the time. That's the body, the abdomen, and the thorax together. And this little head I'm going to tuck in here. And then, these are my wings. Oops, that's the hard part. The wings like to fly away, so I'm going to put one right there and one over here. Do you know what I'm making? It's supposed to be a little ladybug. It's missing some spots, isn't it? So I'm just going to, this takes some time. I'm going to cut, I folded it and I'm going to cut some spots. If I fold it, I can cut 2 at a time. Okay? Yeah, and don't say, Mom, Dad, can you cut me out the spots? Say, wait till you see when I'm done. Don't be lazy. You guys can do this. I wouldn't ask you to do something you can't do because they're all going to look a little different. So I'm going to stick some spots. Now it's starting to look more like a ladybug. The more details you put on your pictures, anytime, the more it'll look like what you want it to be. So when you say, oh, it doesn't look right, that's when you say, needs more details. And it definitely does. See how it's starting to look like a ladybug? I like it. I think my flower, I'm gonna make a flower. I think it's gonna be a tulip. Have you ever seen a tulip? Well, this is how I imagine my tulip. I cut a half circle, and I'm just gonna cut in and cut in, get rid of a few triangles. While I'm doing it, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I could make a beautiful dragonfly flying in the air. There's a flower. Or I could make a caterpillar crawling on the leaf. I think I will. I'm going to make with brown. Oops, my lights keep going out, boys and girls. I'm going to make a little squiggly body like this. Oh, I could make a butterfly flying through the air. Let's see. I'm going to put my little caterpillar here. I think he needs a better head. Maybe I'll give him an orange head. I'm going to have it so colorful. Now, I don't want yours to look like mine, but I do want yours to look any way you want. Okay? So I'm imagining, I'm going to give it a little. Now, remember at the beginning, I said no drawing. Well, I am going to make one exception. Okay? My little bugs need 6 legs. 1, 2, 3 on this side, and 1, 2, 3 on this side. Over here, it's a caterpillar, so won't write very well. I'm going to put a bunch of legs. And then also, he's going to need some antennas. So I can add those little details, okay? But I don't want a lot of coloring on this. I want it to be Eric Carle style. Even the sun here. You know what I imagine Eric Carle would do? I imagine, oops, I gotta stop. I imagine he'd have a face. So I'll add that later, but I gotta stop. I'm out of time. Can't wait to see yours. Have fun, boys and girls.